So what happens when you take the cliche plot elements of My Magic Dog and Flyin Ryan and put them together? You get 1993's The Skateboard Kid.
I call that an eye-opener. I'm back, and I'm ready to roll.
When he becomes the Skateboard Kid.
Wow.
The Skateboard Kid.
How is he doing that? Looney Tune time.
Catch the magic.
I heard about this movie through a bunch of other people's reviews and such, but I became interested in wanting to see the movie for myself when I heard that it was made by New Horizon, which, if you've been watching the Blockbusters show, New Horizon eventually became New Concord, and that's Roger Corman's production company, and obviously they made Flyin Ryan, one of the best, worst movies we've ever reviewed for the Blockbusters show. No one could be more bored than Zach, the new kid in town with no friends in sight. When a gang of hip, skateboarding thrashers start cruising his neighborhood, Zach hopes his luck would change. But they want nothing to do with him. Then Zach makes the discovery of his life. A talking, wisecracking, magical skateboard. And suddenly, skateboarding rises to entirely new heights. Okay, so the copy that I'm watching actually has adverts for other New Horizon, New Concord productions. I have an advert for Fantastic Four in here? Are you serious? So the movie begins with like 6 minutes of these skateboard punks just kind of hanging out doing general skateboard tricks. And they're skateboarding outside of LAX, and that part just looks like a music video. Oh my god, people doing skateboard transitions. Oh my god, is this the prequel to Flyin Ryan? They come across this car driving around in the middle of the desert, and we meet our main character, Zach, wearing his signature WOW hat, and his dad, played by Timothy Busfield, aka Poindexter from Revenge of the Nerds. And they pull a prank on them by making them think that they ran one of their members over, and he's also wearing a chicken mask. And then there's this part where they give them the right directions of where to go, and then they snicker like they're lying to them.
It's back that way.
Really? But Dad, we're already
40 miles down that way, then you make a right.
So from there, we got very cliche plot elements, you know, single dad with a kid moving to the small town. The dad gets a job, he's struggling with it. The kid is alone, he wants to hang out with the skateboard gang of kids, but they don't like him. Zach keeps pestering his dad while he's at work, and then one guy, like, out of anger, punches Zach's skateboard with his bare fist, just punches clean through it. And as Zach is feeling bad, he then comes across this lady who is nice to him. She gives him some lemonade, and he helps her by getting rid of this sleazeball who's trying to, like, work on her electricity.
Well, we must have made some kind of mistake.
No.
Yeah, according to your meter, you're all paid up. Don't that beat all?
And so to thank him, she gives him a skateboard, and he takes it home and starts working on it. And honestly, that whole part of the movie felt rushed, because it's like, I mean, at least Flyin Ryan had a sequence where the bullies were teasing him for his wheelie sneakers. Here, he just takes it home and he's like, I gotta work on it, I gotta modify it, make it radical. Which, by the way, that's another thing. Not just with the skateboard tricks, but a lot of the time with the dialogue. This movie is very, very 90s.
Why'd he cross the road like that?
Get to the other side, you Barney.
What do you think?
Dude.
You're not laughing, dudes. I was, but then you took your mask off.
Oh.
So Zach puts this robot face onto the skateboard, but then it gets struck by lightning, like it's magic, and then it comes to life, and it has the voice of the late, great Dom DeLuise.
Zach, Booby, it's your turn to attack.
Wait.
Yeah, wait. As chairman of the board, I'm telling you, don't sweat it. These guys are Barneys.
It's like they wanted the thing to be alive, but they couldn't settle on why it was alive. They're like, oh, it's AI. No, it's magic. Screw it, let's do both. Ultimately become best friends, and you think that that would be the majority of the movie. I mean, it's on the poster, it's in the title, The Skateboard Kid. You think that's going to be the whole film, right? No, because just like Flyin Ryan, and also, you know, all these other, like, lame-ass kids movies like Magic Dog, Talking Cat, Talking Horse, they introduced this whole subplot about the lady who owned the antique store that gave Zach the skateboard is going to get married to the asshole boss of Zach's dad, who is this stereotypical sleazy used car salesman cowboy guy. All throughout the movie I kept saying he looked like Doug Dimmadome. And apparently his motives for wanting to marry this woman who owns this antique store is because her family had treasure, and so he even has a treasure map. Why does he need to marry her? He's got the treasure map. He could easily just go out and apparently he wants to inherit it.
We'll get great-granddaddy's treasure back.
It feels like they should have done one or the other. It's like, okay, marry her and have him inherit it, or have him have the treasure map and try to steal it without her knowing. This makes the whole burying the mom's will thing from My Magic Dog look brilliant in comparison. And just like My Magic Dog, Zach has this friend who is the daughter of the lady who owns the antique store.
I think those doctors are buying Maseratis.
Why, what did those quacks say this time?
Well, they ran the tests, and it looks like Jenny is going to need the surgery sometime next year.
When that scene pops up, it is as out of nowhere as that one scene in the room.
I got the results of the test back. I definitely have breast cancer.
It comes right out of left field, and I don't even think they touch on it ever again. So then we get a bunch of scenes of padding. We have, a dinner scene where Zach's dad and Jenny's mom, start hitting it off. They're starting to like each other. Weirdly enough, though, there's this whole stupid shenanigans sequence where, because Zach's dad has to play a clown for commercials, he has this clown bald cap glued onto his head, and that wasn't that funny. And then when he goes to answer the door, he still has the clown bald cap on, but he's able to work around it because he entertains what look like middle school kids with regular ass clown tricks.
Oh, gee, Ripley, that meal was really good, but all of a sudden I don't feel so good.
And then, coincidence upon coincidence, asshole businessman cowboy who's trying to marry Jenny's mom is also the father of the leader of the asshole skateboard punk gang. So then Zach and Jenny find out that Dan, which is the name of the slimy asshole cowboy businessman, they find out that he's only in it for the treasure in a scene that's like the most generically written bad guys sitting around talking about, haha, we're so evil, haha, we're going to get the treasure.
Granddaddy left behind just so us later tanners would know exactly where that sweet stolen payroll is hidden.
On the day of the wedding, Jenny ends up revealing the treasure map, hands it off to Zach. Zach then takes off. He's being chased by a cop, the asshole skater punk kid group, and then what happens? The skateboard is so magic, it ends up flying. He's flying? Is he flying? Oh my god, it is Flyin Ryan! It is the prequel to Flyin Ryan! And everything is made right because the wedding is called off. Zach finally got to one-up the asshole skater punk kids, and it seems that Zach's dad and Jenny's mom are going to get together now, and they're going to get married, and that concludes the movie about the talking skateboard that barely did anything. In conclusion, this movie is pretty stupid, but if you watch it in the right mood, you could probably get some good laughs out of it because of how stupid and how badly written it is. It's not as funny as Flyin Ryan because Flyin Ryan's production was just so bad. It's what made a lot of it charming because you look at it, you're like, this looks like something like fifth graders put together. This movie's competently made. It's just the writing and how cliche everything is the worst part of it. And sometimes it's funny, other times it's just like, okay, are we really doing this? That's really how I came away from this movie. It's cliche, it's stupid, and it does have some so bad it's funny moments. It's far from the worst movie I've sat through. I wasn't sitting there furious or irritated, but at the end of the day, yeah, it's a bad movie. If you watch like a best of reel on YouTube where people probably heavily edited some of the funnier, stupid moments in the movie, you could probably get some good laughs out of it. Now, as for what we're looking at next time on the Blockbusters show, we're looking at another really lame-ass family movie, but this time it has a bigger budget. It was released by 20th Century Fox, and it's starring a big-named actor, or YouTuber in this case, video gamer, Jack Black. It's Gulliver's Travels.